D's across the board. Gaming report card is brutal. Oh no. So this looks like gaming in general. How you guys feeling about the gaming industry? I think a lot of people are kind of just like lollygagging around right now. Feels like there's nothing really going on. I mean, right now in terms of WoW, we're at the tail end of an expansion. We're going to get a new season here, but we're all looking forward to midnight at this point. We're ready to move on. So yeah, WoW feels like it's in a bit of a lull. The gaming industry as a whole, I guess, feels like it's in a lull. Maybe everyone's just waiting for GTA 6. I don't know. Could be GTA 6 could come and be the savior of gaming at this point. But let's take a look at this video from Bellular. Now you feel it, he says. Let's see what this is all about here.
I've noticed something this game reveal season. The vibes are a little bit off. I see it in the comments, I see it in the live streams. And looking at Xbox, I mean, when your one more thing reveal is Call of Duty, which is basically the most predictable game launch ever, then you kind of know that something's a little bit off. So it's been a odd reveal season. The big explosive hype wasn't there. Sony held back Ghost of Yotai stuff for their own event, and the only major game reveal was Resi 9, which, you know, I'm pretty hyped for, but there was that resounding thing of the vibes being off, and actually the reason why is fairly simple. The absolute state of the industry and all of the reading between the lines that we've been able to do. Let's start this off with Jeff Keighley's own Twitter polls. So Xbox got a B, Summer Games Fest also a B, and PlayStation got a D.
Damn.
Not that popular it seems. Now the Twitter gamers may be...
What did PlayStation reveal? Like nothing? I didn't watch this. Did they reveal absolutely nothing? What the hell? They got a D? It almost feels like even the movie industry's followed this same trend where like there's just a lot of duds that have come out, so everyone feels like the movie industry's gone stale. Like you remember the glory days of the Marvel releases that were like huge events and everyone was going to the movies all the time, like pre-COVID and everything. And it was like a big deal every time a big blockbuster movie came out. And now it's like, you know, every time a big blockbuster movie comes out, it's like everyone talks about how it's a flop and it's a piece of shit and it's just another remake or whatever. I don't know. It does feel like both industries are struggling right now. People want to be entertained, and it seems like everyone's having all these companies are having a hard time entertaining.
Skewed PlayStation's result. Maybe they wanted more
BBD,
of the Sony first-party big cinematic games, maybe less of the Japan games, perhaps. But even accounting
COVID
for
killed
that,
movie theaters,
I do think the vibe check says that something was rather lacking. Now, there were big games still.
But you could say, though, COVID killed movie theaters, but it was great for gaming. I mean, for Twitch, we had the highest viewership numbers ever. For games in general, I feel like people were just buying games out the ass. Everyone was playing. Everyone was stuck at home in lockdown. Like, if you were a gamer, fucking lockdown was prime. That was prime time, man. You were built for that shit. You had a good time during lockdown. So you can make the excuse in the movies industry that, maybe that got hurt by it. But gaming should have not gotten hurt by it. But it seems like maybe game development did. And that's the other side of it, is like maybe we have still lingering effects from gaming development being locked down for like 2-3 years. Who knows?
Right? Like Sony have got a new Marvel fighting game. There's IO's James Bond. There's new Double Fine games. But it didn't really feel like the same level of major reveals as some prior years. A lot
Essential
of prior
worker
years.
here. Oh,
I'd
no.
say that's true. There were no massive franchise reveals with the exception of Capcom's bait and switch with Resi 9. But it's Capcom. They do kind of
no new franchise reveals. That's another thing that's very parallel with the movie industry. I think gaming companies, it's become so expensive to make a movie or to make a game that they're afraid to take a risk with a new franchise. So we just keep getting like the iterations on games that already exist. A new Assassin's Creed, a new Call of Duty, a new Madden, a new NFL. I mean, those things always existed, but like, you get what I'm saying? We don't get anything new anymore. It's just like the 6th iteration of a game. Like literally the game that I'm talking about that everyone's still excited for is GTA 6. That's not a new title. That's a new iteration on a game that's been around for decades. So, I mean, yeah, people are just afraid to make new things. I think that's a big one, too.
Their series like Clockwork, that wasn't
creativity
really
in the market,
it's
gone to shit.
Now, maybe this is because lots of games leaked. Perhaps it could be that, but when you look deeper, the trends are apparent because something structurally problematic is lurking and we are finally feeling the results. Let's examine those trends then. So Xbox and PlayStation monopolize the well-known developers, by which I mean, say, Koei Tecmo, Konami, Capcom, and Suda51. They were all revealed at State of Play. Then Focus Entertainment, Dotenod, and Platinum, well, they were all over with Team Xbox. But here's the thing. Even what these big teams revealed weren't necessarily surprising. We got remakes, we got
Yeah, it's the
sequels,
remakes and
release
sequels.
dates for existing work, some smaller
That's what I'm
scale
talking about.
projects, and I mean, take, say, Square Enix. They showed off Final Fantasy Tactics Remake. I mean, hey, awesome. Also a murder mystery game and some Xbox ports. What would have really got people going?
I mean, even like companies like Nintendo, like people always say Nintendo, is dropping those classic, those really good games all the time, but those are all remakes too. What do you wait for from Nintendo? Mario Kart, the new Mario Kart, the new Mario Party, the new Zelda game. Like there has not, I don't think Nintendo's dropped a new franchise in quite a while, and it's just an industry wide thing. Nobody's doing anything new because they're afraid to take the financial risk, and it turns out to be a flop. They'd rather just piggyback off of good work that was done in the past.
Probably the likes of, say,
This
the
is why people are
FF7
moving in
trilogy.
droves to indie games. Right, yeah, that's true. Because the indie game company can take that risk. The company itself is a risk. So you're an indie dev company, you got to make a new game, you got to create a new franchise. Yeah, of course. It's the AAA companies that are afraid of it.
Third part. Now, of course, then come the licensed things. You've got Marvel, you've got
Oh,
Invincible,
yeah, all the cross-licensing.
standalone expansions, say like Dying Light, The Beast, Lies of P, Overture. People do care about those games. There's lots of love, but no lightning rod of excitement. So whenever you see two Bs and a D in the Jeff Keighley poll, I think that does kind of make sense. And it's definitely the case that feeling built up through Xbox and
Bs and a D.
Sony, but it was only really with Summer Games Fest where the unhype complaints really seemed to take off. And that's funny because it did have games. It had 55 games. 26 of those were world premieres. But 3 of those were from Mundfish, the Atomic Heart studio. 2 of them were Lego. Most were smaller studios or first-time devs. The bigger publishers were elsewhere, and even when they were elsewhere, they weren't always announcing the biggest things. And to explain all of this, we've got the real trend of the day. At one point in the show, Jeff Keighley said this: "This next game is from a solo developer and 9 of his friends." Now, this is not me trying to single out Acts of Blood, cool-looking game from Indonesia, but it was the most obvious example of something that Jeff Keighley and Lucy James kept repeating throughout the thing: small team sizes. Now, to be clear, right, it's great that small teams with really cool games are getting such a massive showcase, one that often is only for the big AAAs. But the repetition of that, especially from the hosts, it did feel like, well, I'd say part trying to jump on Expedition 33's marketing. Jeff Keighley claimed it was made by a team of 30, which is, by the way, factually wrong. You can literally look at that game's credits. There's quite a lot of outsourcing, which isn't a bad thing. They're a scrappy team. They did really cool shit, but that whole made by 30 people thing is kind of wrong, and it ends up, of course, being a double-edged blade.
Damn,
because
it's
it
like
warps
300 people.
expectations both for tiny teams by exaggerating what they can do, and also for the big teams. But I think there was a very clear implication, though. Another reason why they kept repeating, this game is from a small team, this game's from a group of people, very small. Don't expect massive AAA games. It's a lot of expectation management. Don't be mad when it's an indie. Don't be mad when it's a AA game. Don't spam a whole bunch of Z's in the chat because they know you're going to do that. There was never going to be that wave of AAA hype.
They're trying to get you to empathize with the teams because they're like, oh, it's a small team. Even the big companies are like, oh, it's small. Don't hurt me. It's small. Yeah, size matters, boys, and people feel empathy for the small size teams.
I think that's for fairly clear reasons. First, there's the obvious, and it's Grand Theft Auto. AAA devs did not want it to crush their games. Of course, GTA is going to be coming out in 2026.
I'll be honest, if I was launching a game, I would not want to launch it at all in the year that GTA 6 launches. It's just going to take GTA 6, I wonder what it's going to look like on Twitch. I would say, I'm putting this prediction out there right now, GTA 6 might be the first time in maybe, I don't know how many years, I don't know how long Just Chatting has been around, but Just Chatting has essentially been the top, watched section on Twitch for probably since COVID. It's really just become like the channel to watch. If you're looking at it, I think GTA 6 will be the first time that we see a game past Just Chatting. Yeah, I think GTA 6 is going to be huge. It's going to literally suck the time out of everything. Shit, I'm going to want to play GTA 6, and all I play is World of Warcraft. But for other game industry, maybe they're all just holding back. they just all they don't want to launch games in a time when GTA 6 is going to launch a year later, just kill their entire gaming, kill all their gamers and take everybody away.
That did mean that loads of devs were
GTA
not
6 streams would
committing
be
to stuff
awesome.
later on this year.
Hey, who
Now, there
knows?
still are games that did commit. Ghost of Yotai, Borderlands, right? Essentially games that could rely on brand loyalty. Anyway, an upshot of this is that loads of games did not provide a release date, even if they were targeted for this year. That means if there's an internal delay, then we won't really hear about it. And certainly, if you're a company that delayed out of Q3 and Q4 of this year to try and dodge GTA, congratulations.
You're right, Cadence.
You're probably going to have to go up against GTA now. Anyway, if you're a AA or an indie, then you can't afford not to release. In the last 4 years, over 35,000 layoffs have hit the games industry.
Yeah.
And that doesn't even...
That's not just a games industry thing. That's a every industry thing, and it's partially because the AI play. AI is coming. AI is coming, and you're going to be able to make things with less people. That's just how it is. So, yeah, all these companies are preparing, even though they're claiming it's based on other reasons or profits or whatever. The truth is they're all preparing for AI. They're all downsizing. That's what it is. Highest viewed streamer in Just Chatting right now is 8K. Yeah, Asmon was at 80K. Yeah, no, I know. Big streamers, there's Asmon, there's all these political streamers and stuff that go to Just Chatting, to be fair, is an all-encompassing category, right? Like it includes a lot of things. It's very random and scattered, so it encompasses more things rather than the games categories, which are just for particular games. If you add up all the games categories on Twitch, like if you had Just Chatting and then just gaming, no, Just Gaming would be way fucking huge. It would be freaking way bigger than Just Chatting. But what I mean is the singular game of GTA 6, to me, is going to be so big that even though Just Chatting encompasses a lot of things, it's going to be bigger. Just the single game, GTA 6, is going to be bigger. It's going to be higher viewership.
Cover loads of studios,
and GTA 6 is fun to watch.
Publishing contracts
it is.
have been withdrawn
GTA
by,
general
say, companies like NetEase. So the games that survived were likely the safer ones. That's why we're seeing so many Souls-likes, so many licensed games, so many expansions. That's all the least risky stuff, and we've covered all of these layoffs as they happened, of course. But my point here is the impact is only becoming clear now. Fewer developers are making games. As a result, there's quite simply fewer games going around, which means that our big release events like this one are gonna look and feel the way that they did. And the big thing to understand, so your expectations are, I suppose, realistic, is that the biggest games take like 3 to 4 years to make, often 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And that does...
Hey, I just thought about it. Blizzard is not gonna release an expansion during the year that GTA 6 comes out, because we're gonna get Midnight. We're gonna get the Midnight expansion like early... Oh, no, they are. Midnight. Midnight will drop in 2026. It'll drop early 2026. Most likely. Oh, shit. We're fucked. Nobody's going to play Midnight. Oh, no.
Does mean that the next 3 to 4 years is basically when we're going to see the rough patches because of all of this shakiness in the industry. Basically,
Titan
the
probably
big,
won't drop till
flashy AAA
2028.
games that people think of as important and industry defining, those won't be around as much, I think. And there won't necessarily be a huge variety of indies to replace them because it's an overall industry-wide contraction. So essentially, expect these showcases to feel this way for the next few years. These big showcases cluster around the corpse of E3. Jeff Keighley presides over them. They're extravagant, they guarantee eyeballs, and they show us what's next in gaming. But right now, well, it's a little bit more like, here's what might come out next. And that's because for years, we've got these massive AAA reveals before the games even entered damn production. Think about Black Panther, think about Wonder Woman. Both of those games were shown off, but neither of them were close to launch. Both of them are now cancelled, which really does leave all the people involved looking rather silly. Now, why would you show them off so early? There's a few reasons. One of them is to attract new hires. Another one is to boost investor confidence, to show that there's stuff in the future. But in so many cases, that shit's obviously backfired. And it's not even like playable games have been safe, right? We've seen a lot of betas, a lot of early access things. Take Battle Aces. That was revealed at Summer Games Fest 24. It went through a year of betas, and it was cancelled just before Summer Games Fest 25. Damn. Expectations are the thief of joy. If all that you're going to be excited by is something very graphically expensive and lavish that feels like it's, just the next big IP or the next big live game you can throw 500,000 hours of your life into, well, that's your expectation. You're not going to have a good time.
Yeah.
But all of this does not mean that we should just throw our hands up and declare the games industry is dead. Maybe we should update what we think the games industry is to be in line with the new reality, because some of it's actually good. I mean, just look at the reveals here. There's loads of indies, there's a fair few AA's, there are some AAA's. gaming isn't dead. Gaming isn't dying. Not when there's that much stuff being announced.
No, gaming isn't dead. I think the games industry as a whole is making more money than it's ever made. I think, you got all the microtransactions that exist in games right now, and just the amount of games that exist. Yeah, that's another thing. There's just way more games these days. So yeah, people have more choices, which means that every AAA dev company is going to have a few less players to play their games because they're getting pulled into 100 other things. The thing is, overall though, it does feel like the quality of the games has gone down a bit. As I said before, just so many sequels, so many remakes, just a lack of creativity from the big guys. Obviously, the indie guys, they have to be creative. They're making their first games ever. So I think that's just like the overarching issue.
But it is changing. We've learned a lot about what does and doesn't work. A lot of things that obviously resulted in countless AAA games dying, countless in-production ones dying, countless ones that, released and had their plans cut short, all that shit. Now, with all of that space being cleared, that clears space for far more interesting games. Ones that, yes, don't have the hype factor of a classic mind-blowing E3 showstopper like a Watch Dogs or something. But how often have those showstoppers actually delivered for us in the end? How often was the hype actually worth it? I think if we give up the hunt for that unrealistic and often disappointing level of hype, what you're actually left with is a torrent of interesting games. They may not look the same. They will be of a lower budget, but that's no bad thing.
And I do agree with what he said earlier, though, about like investor kind of pressure for them to reveal games before they're ready. And then by the time it comes out, all the hype is dead or it gets canceled. I think Riot's taken a completely different direction with that, with their MMO. They're still making an MMO, and there's like an a whispering hype about it still. But they've gone completely radio silent on it. They said they had started to reveal things, and they didn't like where the direction it was going. So they were like, you know what? We're going back to the drawing board. We're going radio silent on this, and we'll reveal something when we're ready. And that in and of itself kind of builds hype, right? Like, we all know they're working on it. We all know it's coming. We all know it'll probably be good. I'm excited to see what it's going to look like and how it's going to play and everything else. It's the first company besides Blizzard that I feel like has given a legitimate shot at making a good MMO, and Amazon maybe, who's made New World and other things like that. But like, this is a big company investing a lot of money in a big game, and they're not talking about it, which is, I think, refreshing.
I mean, if all you were to allow yourself to watch is big budget superhero movies, then you'll just think that film is dead. But if you cast off that high budget event movie restriction, what you'll find is a torrent of astounding films that actually make life a little bit richer. It is in fact just like that with games. All we need to do is get off the AAA drug.
What MMO? They're making a Runeterra MMO, an MMO based on League of Legends lore. So, see, you don't even know because they're not talking about it. But if you look it up, they are working on it. It's a thing.
It is that simple. But like so many simple things, it's initially hard.
That's cool.
It does take a little bit of work. It's easier to get angry and post a bunch of Z's in chat whenever a game is shown off that's not necessarily your genre. But how about, just for once, we actually strip away that reductive bullshit and try to enjoy the medium of games? I think through that lens, the likes of Summer Games Fest will actually come off a good bit better, and we might actually enjoy the damn hobby.
Yeah, nice video from Bellular. Honestly, it's an interesting thing. You guys are watching me play WoW on Twitch. Clearly, everyone here is a gamer. They all play games. Unless you're just here to, look at me, which is also understandable. Some people maybe watch me for that reason. But overall, we're gamers. We want to see the industry do well. We want to see good shit come out. GTA 6 could be the overlord of all great games and come out and completely save gaming as we know it. Who knows? Maybe the next WoW expansion is going to be really good, and the World Soul Saga is going to be good, and what it comes after it's going to be good. But right now, it does feel like we're in a bit of a lull. We're in a bit of a turning point. Are we going to go in the right direction after this kind of downturn of gaming? We'll see. But I think Bellular addressed a lot of the points here, the main points of why gaming feels the way it does. It's a good video. Nice one here from Bellular.